Minhas!
Thank you. Just so you know, you have to pay extra for Chad to do that, so it's quite costly. I wouldn't. You let me know, when do I start? Go! Today I'm going to talk to you guys about a documentary I recently watched called Barbershop Punk. Now, it's not exactly how it sounds. It's actually a really cool documentary on telecommunications. But before I talk about the documentary, the first thing I'm going to ask you guys is how many people here, just raise your hands, don't want you to work too hard. Just to raise your hands, how many people have a service with one of these four big providers? So Rogers, Bell, Telus, look at that. Unbelievable. Even just one, even if you just have the phone, the internet. The next thing I'm going to ask is, now we're going to be a little more participative. Now what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to groan and moan if you've ever had a problem with Bell, Rogers, Telus. There you go. There you go. There you go. Double. The point of the story being, their services are truly integrated into all our lives. Just realize how emotional we all got when we think of them. Barbershop Punk is a documentary about one American who actually found out that his ISP was throttling the ability for him to upload his barbershop music. So he was in a barbershop quartet, uploading to share with people. His ISP made the assertion that that was not appropriate music. So the question then becomes, the question becomes is, how important is the internet in your life? How integrated are internet services? Right now I see 3 or 4 of you using your mobile phone. How integrated? Is this going to be you if they try and pull it away? The next question I'm going to ask you, we talked earlier about Rogers, Bell, Telus, and Shaw. How many of you pay, think about who you pay for your high-speed, who do you pay for your high-speed service? Do you also pay them for your telephone? Do you also pay them for your TV service? Are all your home communications with one company in your home? Just think of the power of that. Do you feel like this when you call in? This is a great video I found on YouTube, where you're being promised all these great things, but the reality is when you call in, you're getting a big FU. That's essentially where our 4 big providers are. So again, the documentary talks about how much control they have over our lives and how much control they have even outside our lives. The next question I'm going to ask you is, how many of you communicate on these social networks outside of your home? So yes, they have all your services in your home. Now you're looking outside your home. You still have to use one of those 4 major providers to connect, even if you're outside your home. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what these telecommunications companies can actually do that you may not realize. They can actually SIM sub, which means they can insert their own commercials over the programming that we watch. They get to decide and do that. In 2007, Google actually found Rogers was inserting branded messages in the middle of Google searches. Just because we all live in Canada, we're all seeing those messages. In the US, Open Technology Initiative actually did a study on cellular rates and what we pay in Canada compared to what they pay in the US and Europe and Japan. We are currently paying the highest amount of rates with because we share among 4 major providers. But you know what, not to worry, we have the CRTC. I was just going to ask, how many of you have heard of the CRTC? How many of you ever dealt with the CRTC, submitted a complaint to the CRTC? Okay. Not as easy a process as you think. The CRTC is a government-regulated body that's designed to help protect us against these 4 big providers, to stand up for the people. And when there's an issue, we should be able to approach them and have them slap the 4 big providers in their hands. But does it really work? What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through 3 or 4 quick case studies. I can't even remember. That's how new this presentation is for me. 3 or 4 case studies. First was Pride TV. Pride TV accused Shaw of forcing their program to go through secondary traps if anyone wants to order them. A secondary trap means every time you order something, you've got to press 3 or 4 times before that program actually comes through. Netflix says, hey, Canada's got internet, why don't we launch out there? The next day, out came usage-based billing, meaning that you had now gigabyte caps on your internet. Shaw's response, that's okay, we'll offer the movie club, which means that if you sign up to our service instead of Netflix, we won't charge you that extra fee. Now imagine gamers. Has anyone ever met gamers, those PlayStation, Xbox guys? Imagine the power it takes to get those guys to put pants on and out of their home to go to the CRTC and complain, hey, these guys are throttling our games. Right? Bell decides that they're going to pitch usage-based billing. They're going to go to the third-party competitors of theirs, like TechSavvy, and say, hey, guess what, guys? For the extreme users you have, we're going to bill you extra. That's literally what happened. But you know what? Maybe I'm oversimplifying. Shaw did eventually give in and let Pride TV remove the secondary traps. Rogers actually resolved the throttling issue with World of Warcraft, and Bell said, you know what, if we're going to penalize you for those overusage, we're going to force our Bell customers to pay those overusage fees as well. But what I want to ask is, when you go to a game, when you watch a TV program, when you listen to the radio, who are you really listening to? Think about exactly what the 4 big companies own in our landscape. And again, not just TV, phone, and internet. Think about the sporting teams. Think about the newspapers, the periodicals you read. That's how much control and how much of their message you're seeing every day that you don't realize. So it's really important to discern what comes from them and how to interpret that. So the next time when you go home and you're paying your bill, just realize, whose message am I actually looking at? I'm stalling because I'm waiting for the next slide. There we go. What should we do? If you want to help resolve this issue, it's not a one-man fight. We need to start going to our small providers. There are 4 in Barrie alone, independent providers that you can help support. As they grow and build their network, they can actually service us as well. And of course, stop signing 3-year contracts for free phones so that you're not handcuffed for 3 years. And that's it. That's all I have to say. Thanks.